So, like I said, man, this society has going off already by doing that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's true, man. Either you got to be there for your woman though, but biblically wise though, you're not. You're supposed to be away from her. What does it say? 7 days. 7 days though. Can't you? But they want to be like, oh, I want to see my son. I want to see, you know, how this and that though. But in realization though, you know, you have to have 7 days, but then you can't even see your woman though. But like I said, society has you like, well, you hug your woman, like, you know, I love you, saying all these type of things though. But that's already from the start, man. You're going off though, man.
You're fucking up already.
Yeah. Society already has you where you're gonna be clean and all these things. You're starting off in a bad batch.
Simpsons. That's the Simpsons right there.
Yeah.
The simpleton.
Yeah. So that's the thing about it though, man. So you can't be born though. You're already going off though. Can you get a
Deuteronomy? This is Deuteronomy 18, verse 10 and 11. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer.
Observer of time, right? So they expect you to be in school, 7, 8 in the morning? Oh, you got to be in school. And it said consulter. What did they got in schools? Counselors. You know, kids having a bad day, whatever. Oh, you know, you talk to me. Why can that kid talk to their parents? You know, so here you are having school counselors, and things doesn't matter though, you know. And then you said necromancer, right?
Necromancer.
Hey man, those are the ones that practice the witchcraft and all that, man. What do you got in school? You got teachers, science teachers though. You got science teachers that tell you, man, you were a worm that came out of the water, man, and you started growing legs and shit like that.
That's fucking funny, huh?
I remember my what was it? I think it was middle school teacher told us that we came from a fucking worm. You know what I mean?
What a fucking dumb bitch.
So practicing witchcraft, there you go. You over here, oh, so we came from a worm from the water though, and you come home and tell your parents that, like, what the fuck, no, the fucking teacher's wrong, you know?
If I can say this, necromancer, because these motherfuckers will get you to dissect a dead animal.
Oh, the frog.
The frog, the shark, the owl, shit. It's all fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Who wants to be around that all that stinky shit?
Nasty ass
one. Cut a frog.
Who the fuck wants to cut a dead frog?
Yeah. And then you gotta, well, not only do that, you gotta pick the organs, right? Or what is it? I never done it, but I'm just saying you have
to identify every organ. You have to identify the fatty parts. Like, man.
Some shit that you wouldn't want to do, right? But you gotta get that good grade, right, Dad? Hey, you know, hey, Dad, I gotta cut this and do all this nasty shit. Hey, son, you gotta do that to get that grade A. Because, you know, parents, though, they're all about parents about the education. Mm-hmm. They want the kids to get the education, push that shit and things like that. But here's the kids, though, going off and doing shit like that, man. You know, and they observe the time, you know, they expect the kids to be going to school at a certain time and shit, you know? So, and then it's pressure on the kid, though. Think about it. And I remember being a kid, too. It's pressure. You got to be good grades at school. You got to be good at home. You got homework, though. You got to do your chores and shit. So you're like a little kid, like a college student, man, going to college out there somewhere, though. You got to do the good grades. You got to do your chores. You got to do all this shit. So that's a lot of pressure for even a kid, though.
Hell yeah.
You know?
And then they want you to continue that kind of lifestyle.
So you're like 17.
They want you to go to college, work and go to college.
Yeah.
And get your master's while you're working.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers are stupid.
Yeah. They expect you to do all this shit, and then top it off, people here on the chart don't got money like that. They don't got money to send their kid some fucking expensive ass school and shit, and be like, all right, I'll give $50,000 this year and all that. You don't got money like that. And so what? That's why Jake gotta work extra hard though, just to get an education, and they be prideful about it though. You know what I mean? When education comes from the scriptures, and of course from our apostles and elders though, man. That's the real teachers, man. You know, of course, the octave too. But here you are in the school system where they teach you about, you know where I learned from school? Man, I learned how to, you know what I mean? Because school gets kids off, though. They want to trend and be like looking at another kid like, hey, man, this kid over here gets Jordans every 3 months. They go to the parents, hey, can you buy me some pair of Jordans? And then being from this chart, man, I don't got money like that. What are you talking about?
And the reality is, those kids that get those Jordans every 3 months, they're fucking bad kids.
Yeah. They're the
Terrible
ones that
kids.
say fuck to their parents.
I'd kick that motherfucker in the mouth.
Yeah, yeah. See? So, and then, you know what I mean? You know what I learned from school too? Drugs. Being a middle schooler and shit, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, you start experiencing with that shit at school. Well, I did though.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know what the bad part is? Well, it's actually good. Some kids do sell drugs, and you get better at math than the fucking math teacher.
Yeah. It's true.
Motherfucker, man, it's like, what the fuck? The real life experiences is better than what you're learning at school.
Yeah, exactly. Because all you learn, like I said, man, well, everyone had a different route though, but what I learned though was the drugs and shit though, how to skip, skip school, trying to maneuver somewhere else and shit though.
I learned how to party.
Yeah. How to kick it with the, to say the homies and shit. Oh, I want to be like this in school right here. Shit like that, man.
Getting gang fights, getting a gang.
Fighting for your friend.
Yeah.
You get into, hey, man, like, let's go play some body shots in the restroom and shit real quick. Fight some guy and shit. And shit like that, man. You learn about the promiscuous girl and shit in math class.
Yeah, everybody talks about her and then you want to deal with her.
And see what it's all about.
And then when they see you talking to her, everybody's like, oh, he's hitting that.
Yeah. Rumors. And then what? Some, kids too, man, they end up fucking suicidal, man.
Yeah, that's fucking terrible.
So low self-esteem and shit. Because this kid has this and this kid has that. That creates low self-esteem to the kid, though, man. So then you walk into the garage, this kid's over here hating himself.
Dang. So,
you know what I mean?
my dad, he didn't go past 3rd grade. My grandfather didn't go past 3rd grade. All of that was because, look, son, I need you at fucking home to take care of the cows, take care of the fucking horses, take care of the donkeys. You gotta fucking harvest all this shit we're gonna eat. Life was better like that. I realized, man, fuck school. The worst time of my life was high school.
But then you get in trouble for ditching.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't go to school today? You get hit for that.
The principal will call. The principal will call your house.
And then if your kid's not going to school, the parent goes to jail because the kid ain't going to school. The fucking shit is that?
Hey, that's against the scriptures because, if a kid goes off, your son goes off, and the whole village decides, hey man, this guy needs to get stoned. The father doesn't get stoned along with him. It's just that son. They have to be like, you know what? She's wicked. Those are hard times back then.
Oh, yeah. That would bring, can you get Deuteronomy 22, 28, 29? And can you get us Sirach 30 and 1? Because, what this brother's going to read in Deuteronomy, if your kid's going off, man, and your kid's doing things that matter, though, ain't listening to you, just being an evil-ass little demon, though, hey, you could take it to the elders, and the elders, hey, stone him. He's being a profitable kid, though, hey, stone his ass, So this was back in those times, man. If your kid was acting out, because I don't know if you brothers ever seen that movie, it was called 187. It came out back in 1997, and it was this guy, I think it's Caesar. He was a Ishkar, I'm not call him Ishkar, I'm gonna call him Mexican. He was a Mexican, right? He was in a gang and shit, and this guy would hit his mom and shit, And the teacher, which Samuel L. Jackson played him, he went and talked to Caesar's mom, and she had a bruise and shit, and that mom told, his name was Garfield in the movie, she said, sometimes I wish God would take him away from me, and eventually he killed himself. Oh, they're playing Russian roulette. But you see, that woman, like she said, I wish sometimes God would just take him away,
That's how that's how the Lord punishes people. Puts you in those fucked up situations.
Yeah.
Man, it's something else.
Yeah, you don't want to get judged by the Most High, man.
You want to stay on this good side.
Yeah, exactly. You get Deuteronomy 22, 28, and 29. Chapter 22. Because the Most High he's gonna punish you. You're gonna get perished. So that's what's gonna happen, though. You know what I mean? Ain't gonna be you're gonna hit your toe in the corner of the wooden, table and shit. You're gonna get punished. You're gonna get hit by a car or something. Something's gonna hit you.
In the worst way.
Yeah.
So Deuteronomy 22, 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin.
Oh, Slakia, it was that one. Yeah. Can you get us Rock 30 and 1?
This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 30:1. He that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end.
Exactly, though. So, you know, that pretty much says you can hit your kid, man. You feel that rod. What do you think the rod is talking about? You know, you can hit your kid in the side, though. That's saying that you can hit your kid, though, man. You know, because later on, you don't want them to be soft. You don't want them to go against you and shit. You know what I mean? Because, you know, a proper, can you get us Rock 16, 1 and 2? Because a kid that just being a demon, man, it's that precept is brother going to read right now. It says pretty much, instead of having a lot of kids, man, it's better for you not to have any. You know what I mean? If they're demons, though, it's better for you not to have any no kids, though, you know? So that's what this brother's going to read right now. Because what's the whole, we have 3-4 kids, right? And over here in the streets and all this shit, though, you're going to be like, man, sometimes I wish I didn't even have these kids, though.
Wow.
It just goes through people's mind. It really does.
So this is Sirach, which is Ecclesiasticus chapter 16, verse 1. Desire not a multitude of unprofitable children, neither delight in ungodly sons.
There you go. Can you read the next one?
Though they multiply, rejoice not in them, except the fear of Yahweh Shim outside be with them.
Yeah, exactly, though. Because, you know, oh, he was over here doing this, though. Oh, yeah, that's what's up, though. Nah, you know what I mean? Don't be doing that shit. Don't be their friend, though. You know, because if you be their friend, they're not gonna look at you as a dad, though. You know, if they're over here being demons and things like that, doesn't matter, though. The only thing, look what happened with Job.
Yeah,
Man,
he
lost all his kids, because you know what I mean. It's the Most High pushed that, though. But they were celebrating like their birthday. You know, so that's the thing of the matter, man. You don't want to keep these kids friends, though. Because I get a priest of people too. It's rock, though. Because
yeah, I whoop my kid's ass. I mean, I terrorize him.
you have to.
I tell him, look, if you don't do nothing, I'm gonna kill your fucking bunny. Yeah.
Hey, that puts fear in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was 3 bunnies there. 2 of them already fucking dead. So you know I ain't bullshitting.
Gone. So yeah, I'll get a Sirach 30, and I'll start at 9. Conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Conquer, which means don't spoil him, don't baby him. And it says, play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness. As in you over here taking things lightly with him and making, because I'll read this next precept. 10, laugh not with him, let's have sorrow with him, and lest thou gnash the teeth in the end. And 11, give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his follies. Don't make things slide. He did this, hey, you have to get on it, though. Don't let it slide, though, because eventually he's going to do it again. You know? So don't be doing like things on the matter like that, because if you're over here trying to be his friend, though, he ain't going to respect you as a parent, though. You know? So that's the thing of matter, though, man. It says, conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. You spoil him, baby him. Hey, shit, he's gonna turn out, grow up to be pretty much a pussy.
Yeah.
In other words, he's gonna be a pussy, though. You hear this kid, man, like, hey, you want him to be like, at least a little, you know what I mean, like rough around the edge, though. But that's why the Mexican parents, man, they'd be like, man, these kids that grew up here in the United States, man, they don't even know how it is back over there.
Yeah.
Because I would hear from my dad, because my dad, one thing about my dad, is he's a hard worker, though. He is. My grandpa put him in the fields when he was 5-6 years old, carrying chemical bags on his back.
3rd grade, right there.
Yeah, well, he was 1st grade.
Not even, huh? Not even.
No, he was like kindergarten, 1st grade. He didn't even go to school. He only went to school for like a bit, I think, and then that was it. Because my grandpa, the same thing, took him in the fields to work with him because he wanted him to,
Needed him
help
to.
Yeah. So at 5-6 years old, he was over here carrying chemical bags on his back, and he remembered the heaviness. He still tells me to this day he remembers the smell of that chemical. And that's powerful, because he says, I still can smell that smell from the chemical on my back when I was only 5-6 years old.
Hey, but he's strong.
Oh, yeah.
He's strong, and yeah, 5-6, you're doing that, you're stronger than every other 5-year-old, 6-year-old.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I remember carrying calves when I was like 7, 8.
Oh, the little baby calves.
Baby calves, and I'd be like, but my uncles would be like, yeah, that's how you fucking do it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They'd be like, what's up,
Slam it down, tie them up, and
yeah. Random.
and then they would test me. They'd be like, here, they give me a big knife, and they'd be like, skin them, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
They'd be like, slow down. But that shows you that what you're saying is true. The times we're in are straight up for punks and pussies, man.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? You see these little Jakes and shit, they don't even fight no more. They shoot guns out.
They don't even wear belts.
Yeah. They be fucking, you know what I mean? And then they kill, if this Jake's talking to another girl that you like, they kill that Jake for talking to the girl they like. You know, we live in times where, you know, it's the word simp though. Bunch of simps though, man. They don't want to fight you though. That's why these little Jakes and shit, man, like, you know, if one try to get into you, he's not even gonna fight you. He's just gonna pull his gun out and shoot you. You know? That's why they said, like, this whole gangbanging era shit though, man. Hey, man, to be gangbang. Oh,
Like on Friday, when Craig's dad was talking, he said, back in the days, all we needed was this.
Yeah.
If you win, you win, you lose, but you still live to
Yeah,
fight.
you still live
Hey.
and fight. I got a prison free.
God.
This is Hebrews 12:5. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him.
Yeah, because, you know, if you're getting chastised from the Most High, that means He's dealing with you. If you over here living like good life, things like that, like Esau, the Most High ain't dealing with you. In this truth, man, you gotta suffer though. You think Yahweh Shai didn't suffer though? Look what He died for our sins though. And I'm talking about the people here on this board right here. You know? So He went through a lot of things though, Himself though, you know? So don't act like, you know, we get chastised. But being this truth, you come to realize and see, like, you know what? Got chastised right for it, man. Some of our things that we did back in the world, we should get stoned to death and killed for it. You know? That's why, like I said, back then, we were all, so-called Mexicans. Then we converted to Ishikar, you know? Because the brothers from Inspiration and brothers from LA, they had a sit-down last night. And there was a brother saying that he was with his family in the movie theaters, and some Mexican, you know, he called them Mexicans, not Ishkar, because, you know, Ishkar are brothers that are, you know, from the tribe of Ishkar. You know, these guys are like Mexicans. They walked by and stepped on his shoes and his family. They didn't know what their jacket. They didn't even say, "Oh, excuse me," or nothing. And the brother was, you know, he's from the tribe of Judah. He was like, I wouldn't even call them Ishkarites, man. Those guys are Mexicans. You know, same thing with, you see, you know, tribe of Judah, the brother, you know, he's from tribe of Judah. Then you see the Jakes, oh, those guys are Negro niggas.
Yeah, you know the difference.
Yeah, it's a difference. That's why you said that too. You know, in order to be Mexican, you gotta convert into this.
Yeah.
Anyone from here gotta come over here on this side to be actually living. You know? So that's the thing about it though, man. And one thing too I wanna speak upon is like when what's it called? You know, high school, right? You go to high school and then you see you know, Sally from math class, she got pregnant and shit, and she stopped coming to school, right? So it's like the teachers, the parents, the students shame-face her, right? They put shame on her. Oh, got pregnant at a young age and shit, though. But you don't understand. Oh, it's like it.
That's what she's supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly. As a concept, you're supposed to, a woman is supposed to get pregnant young so that kid will come out strong.
Yeah.
You
don't
know?
want no old bitch having your baby.
Yeah. And they say too, when they're 40 and 50, what they say? Oh, it's a high-risk pregnancy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially the Edomite women, man.
Mm-hmm.
Edomite women, man, they have trouble with it. That's what their kids fucking, you know what I mean? They come out with some fucking defects and shit, the birth defects, man. But the Jake, you know, baby, that's why the Jake though, when they have their kids, you know, when they're young, right? That's why you see the son, you know, it'd be a Jake son, he'd be like this tall, and then the mom would be like here. But it's because she had him real young. And they got all that natural, you know, they get all big though. So, you know, like I said, when a woman gets pregnant, everyone shame-face her. How could you, you know? No, it's a good thing she did get pregnant. So therefore, you know, she's pregnant with guys though, but, you know, at the same time, that guy is supposed to, you know what? Take care of her. Now you're a mom, you know, you're be at the house and shit though. You know, you're supposed to be at the house now, doing house things because you became my wife. As soon as my rod went in you, you became my wife. So therefore, you know, because it's a thing, right? So let's, you know, we went to school with them type, you know, with them girls, right? They have their kid though, and next thing you know, she's sitting next to a guy. She already had the kid though. But you're gonna return back. The friends will be like, oh, come back to school, you know, next year. It's okay, we have you back. But then the school system has it where she's sitting next to a guy for like 3-4 periods, and that's what, you know, what's it saying, Sirach? So, you know, you're You're not even supposed to
Sit
wife.
out with another man's wife.
The wife, yeah. See? So those are the type of things though that Esau does and the system does that makes us Israelites go off though. You know, so those type of things, man. So that's why this whole system of Esau, you know, messes with us when anything goes back to the Bible though. You know? Like I said from Leviticus, man, it starts from giving birth though, and you giving her a hug though, and then you being unclean. Because she's unclean. It all starts from that, but Esau allows all this shit to happen though. Instead of saying, your ass ain't gonna go to school, your ass ain't supposed to be, once that rock goes in you, boom, you're supposed to be at home, I take care of you, shit. Instead of, wait till next year and be sitting next to dudes and shit, and dudes be like, whoa, hey, she's having sex. And she be having dudes hitting up on her because they know that she be having sex and she had a kid.
That's right. That's right.
So with that, that was the end of my lesson. Just trying to talk about, Esau's system, how it affects being a parent at home,
Yeah.
And it does.
So if I could just say this, Esau is the one that's making you go off. So stop respecting him. When my kids do bad at school, I go, man, I don't give a fuck. Get over, just graduate and fucking, I'll be happy. I'll even get you a car. Don't even
Don't stress over it, huh?
I don't stress about it.
No, I'm saying your son, don't work.
Hey, but they don't stress out either. None of them do. They don't give a fuck about school. I raised my kids the way I had a chance to raise them a little bit in the truth. So they're like, man, fuck school, man. We don't give a fuck. And they do things like that. It makes you proud. But then you get worried because they have to live in Esau's system.
Yeah, exactly. When it's kind of funny too when say your son gets in a fight and then the mom's all mad, right? But then you ask your son, hey, did you beat his dad, son? Fuck him up, right? Yeah, all right, that's what's up, that's what matters. Don't worry about your mom. Right? And that's the truth though. Yeah, that's the truth, man.
So with that, hopefully, we got enough time for my lesson.
We always have time.
So I want to speak on how anyone could be an Israelite. We don't know who are the Israelites because not only the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are Israelites, but a white boy could be an Israelite too, or a Chinese man, he could be an Israelite. It doesn't matter what you look like; it matters about the spirit.
Because there's some so-called Moabites, man, they're badass basketball players, man. They play basketball like games.
And I knew a Moabite who did a rain dance, and it fucking rained hard as fuck.
Oh yeah?
Hell yeah.
Pretty good.
It was in summer too. It was July 17th. I was working at SK Oldham tomato plant, and I said, "You ain't no fucking Indian." He said, "No, my grandfather was Indian." I said, "Do a fucking rain dance then." And he goes, "What's gonna happen if it rains?" "Well, then you be my friend forever." And then he fucking did it, and I said, "You my fucking homie forever." But then he went to the Marines, and I think he went crazy or something. But still, he made it rain because he believed it. Like the brother said, anybody could be Israelite. It doesn't matter how you look like.
Yeah, so look at Acts 10:1.
Because there's a group called the Jabba Wakis. They're like a dance group. There's a so-called Vietnamese, Filipino, Mexican, Jake, and I forgot the other one. But but they all dance like Jake. They have masks, the white masks too, and they dance those. Like you would think it's the so-called Negroes, but when they mask themselves, they're like, oh shit.
And then they take off their mask and you're like, what?
Yeah. They're called the Jabba Wakis or something like that. The dance group out of San Diego too.
So this is Acts 10:1. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band.
So this was a man, his name was Cornelius, and he was a centurion, which means he was a Roman officer.
Yeah, control over 100.
Centurion.
But just because he was a Roman officer, that doesn't mean that he was from Rome, because it says right here, he was from a band called the Italian band. So he was actually from Italy, Rome and Italy.
They're in the same area.
they're in the same area, you know.
So it's Italy, and Rome is like the capital, but Rome is also the place where the Vatican, the Catholic, is there. Yeah, but at that time, there was city-states. So Italy wasn't known as Italy, but they were Italians, and Rome was in charge, right? So Italy was something else. The Italian band actually.
Yeah, because according to the 12 tribes card, the
12 tribes chart.
the table of nations, the heathens, you know, the Italians, they're on the heathen, they're on the heathen chart. But a lot of Israelites come from Italy.
Right.
Was it
Byzantine Empire. Yeah, so the Byzantine Empire is around Turkey, and in the middle of Turkey is Armenia. And if you look at the Turkish-Armenian War, that's pretty much the end of the Byzantine Empire. Well, it was before, way before. It ended way before, but that was the last of its people. Acts 10 and 2. A devout man. Hold on. How come this Italian is a devout man? A devout man, and one that feared Yahweh with all his house, which gave much alms to the people, and prayed to Yahweh always.
Right, so like the brother said, what ancient Roman do you know who was God-fearing, you know, who was devout? Because all the Romans we knew in the ancient world, they were murderers. You know, they all murdered the Israelites.
And fucking Pontius Pilates, he gave the go-ahead to crucify our Lord.
Yeah, but this centurion, this Roman, he also gave alms.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he knew the scriptures.
It's Acts 10 and 30. And Cornelius said, 4 days ago I was fasting until this hour. Who fasted? Israelites. You know, when do you get the Romans saying, oh, the Roman was fasting about such and such, though? He said, you know what I'm saying? He was fasting, though.
And another thing I want to say is, and one that feared God with all his house. That sounds like Joshua. That sounds like what Joshua said, right?
Even his family.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Mexicans come from over here. They make Mexican food still.
Yeah, heck yeah. They speak no Spanish.
Yeah.
Except the food plates they're naming.
So this man, he had to be an Israelite because he had the spirit of an Israelite. He was doing all the customs that an Israelite did, that an Israelite does.
That's right.
Even though he looked like a Roman, you know.
Verse 3?
So let's go to verse 9.
Verse 9. Acts 10 and 9. On the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour.
So it was the next day, and Peter, he went to the rooftop on top of the house, and he went to pray, right? Mm-hmm. And it says it's the 6th hour. The 6th hour is at noon.
Yeah, so people would be like, see, you got to wake up at 12 and pray at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. That's what the Christian pastor was saying.
And the worst part is they would all believe it.
Yeah.
Because of lexiconical ambiguity.
So get the next verse.
Verse 10. And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance.
So he became very hungry, and when you get very hungry and when you don't eat for a long time, you kind of start hallucinating, you know?
Shit, I get pissed as fuck.
Because the nutrients and everything in your body starts deplenishing, you know? And it's kind of like your mind starts disconnecting from your body. Because, like, when you go through starvation, if you keep starving and keep starving, eventually you're going to die, right?
You'll eat anything.
So,
go crazy.
The more you starve, the more the mind wants to leave your body.
Wander off.
So when you die, what happens? The mind,
Yeah,
you know,
mind's gone.
goes to the Most High.
And the brother Amon is making the truth, because you ever watch that movie Castaway with Tom Hanks? That fool's fucking hungry. He's having delusions. He's so fucking hungry. He made that ball his homie.
He was having delusions. He was
Yeah.
having hallucinations.
What's the ball's name? Hank?
No, it was for the brand Wilson.
Wilson. There you go.
He even cried when Wilson
Wilson!
passed away.
That nigga was hungry.
Yeah, and he was going crazy too, right?
Yeah.
He was fucking.
It stirs up your emotions, you know.
Yeah. And when I get hungry, I get fucking pissed. Everybody's against me somehow when I'm hungry.
So you could read that again.
And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance.
So there was a meal being prepared, but he hadn't eaten yet. So he fell into a trance, meaning he fell into a deep. He wasn't, because watch. Let me get this definition for a trance, because he's still awake. You know, he's still awake. Right here, although he is awake, his mind is drawn off from all surrounding objects and wholly fixed on things divine, that he sees not but the forms and images lying within, and thinks that he perceives with his bodily eyes and ears realities shown by him by the Most High. So he gets, even though although he is awake, his mind's drawn off. But that's how you get visions from the Most High, though. You know?
Have you ever been sitting in class and you just look out the window and you daydream, and you've been daydreaming for who knows how long?
When you go into a meditation, it's easier to think. You know, things start clicking. Mm-hmm. You know, when you go into a deep, concentration.
Yeah, and this week I saw a group of chariots. There was 10 of them. They were in a triangle formation, and they had the top was white and the bottom was silver, and they were doing stuff like this. So one time they would show their white, and one time they would show their silver, which made me think, is that a fucking stork? Is that a bird? But they were flying together like a triangle. And I was hungry too, and I was like, fuck. Should I tell this guy next to me that, look, those are the chariots? So I didn't, and I just looked at him, and then I'm like, yeah, that's some chariots.
Right, so when you go into a deep concentration, you can think better. They show you that on the Matrix. When Neo, he was like, because he was stuck. He was stuck inside, in between the Matrix and the real world. So he was like, how can I get out of this? So he was like, he started thinking. He went into a deep meditation, and then that's when his mind,
He
had like a vision.
Yeah.
He had a vision, He had a vision of the future, is what it was, because he knew that he had to go to the machine world, because he saw the power lines.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, and something spiritual happened to me too. I was translating for my boss, and then after I went back to the same house after a while, and this fucking crackhead bitch came up to me while I was talking to a client in Spanish and said, tell her to give me $1 so I can get a soda. And I told the lady in Spanish, look, she asked you for $1, but don't give her shit. And I looked at the crackhead and I said, no. So that was the Lord telling me, look, you're translating, you're using your skills for devils. You got to work in this devil's world until I come back. So I'm like, man, I got to put up with this shit. In other words. So it was like, man, that allowed me to understand that little time. And I didn't think about it right then and there. I meditated on it. I thought about it long and hard.
But that's the Most High,
That's how you get your answers. Think about it long and hard.
I got to fix it. 2 Corinthians 12, 2 and 3. I knew a man in my shiak about 14 years ago, whether in the body I cannot tell. or whether out of the body, I cannot tell. God knoweth such and one caught up into the third heaven. And 3, and I need such a man, whether in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell. God knoweth. So he knows when, you have out of, what did it say, out of the body experience.
Out of body experience.
The Most High is the one that does that.
See, he was spiritual. It said that his mind was on the third heaven.
That's the spiritual realm right there.
Verse 11.
Yeah.
Acts 10 and 11. And saw heaven open, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners and let down to the earth.
So all this time when he was hella hungry, he started thinking about food, right? So he had a vision about food that was wrapped up in a big sheet, right? But so go get the next verse.
Verse 12. Wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air.
So in this big sheet, it was all this food that the Lord told us not to eat in the dietary law, in the Leviticus law. All this food is what he told us not to eat, right?
Yep.
So read that again.
Wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air.
Right. So all this defiled food, So read the next verse.
And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat.
So this voice from heaven was telling them to kill all this food, to kill it and eat it. So that kind of sounds like saying that it's okay to eat it. It's saying it's okay to eat pork. It's okay to eat reptiles. It's okay to eat any type of food.
It's okay to eat owls.
Yep, it's okay to eat owls.
And eagles.
That's what it sounds like right here, right?